So hello friends, I am Neeraj. In this session we'll be talking about loops. So what are loops and why do we use loop for? So loop is basically used to repeat some operation again and again. So I'll give you an example. So that would be with the context. I think with the context that would be really useful to understand the concept. So for example, say we have to print a number starting from 1 to 10. So are we going to write the println statement up to 10 times? Obviously not. That is going to be if we go that way, that is going to be a bad way in programming. So rather we use loop, and with only 3 lines of statements, so we would be able to write the number from 1 to 10. That we very shortly we are going to see that. And believe me, loops and conditions are the building blocks to write any complex logic in our program, and we can convert any real-time problem, rather we can convert a real-time problem into the programmatic solution using the loops and conditions. So they are the building blocks. You can in a very plain language. So think of that way. And loops are available in all programming languages, including C, C++, Java, and Python, etc. And but unlike C and C++ or Java, so Go provides only one variation, only one loop, and that is the for loop. But still, we can have multiple variations. And C and C++ we have 3 types of loops. We have for loops, while loop, and a do while loop. So, but in Go, so we are only having one loop. And we can achieve all the operations performed by the while loop as well using the for loop. So we are going to see in this session, we are going to understand 3 variations of loop. First we will use the basic loop, then we will use infinite loop, and lastly we will use for loop as a while loop. So first let us try to understand how we can use loop. Okay, so loop starts with the keyword for, and we can provide the initialization. So let's say we are going to say for I is equal to 1, and we can have a condition. So we are going to check if let's say we have to print a number from 1 to 10. So here we are going to say if I is lesser than equal to 10, and we are going to increment the value of variable I, and we are going to say fmt dot println, and we will say value of I, and we will pass on I. Okay, fine. So now let us try to run our program, and we will say go run main.go. So we are actually able to print with only 3 lines of statements, 1, 2, and 3. So we are able to print 1 to 10. So let me explain it, what is happening under the hood. So first we are actually with I is equal to 1. So we are initializing a counter variable. Here we are checking whether the value of variable I is less than equal to 10 or not. And if this condition is true, then this statement will get executed, and after this statement gets executed, here we are incrementing the value of our variable I, and once the variable I has been incremented, we are again going to check this condition, and if this condition is evaluated to true, then again we are going to execute this statement, and this process will keep on repeating itself until this condition is evaluated to true. And the moment this condition is going to be evaluated to false, then we will get out of this loop, and control gets out from this curly braces. Okay, so let me clear this out. So in many other programming languages, so like in C or C++, so we have to provide in the parenthesis, but in Go actually we don't need to provide parenthesis. And very simply, so just with this, so this is basically, this part is the initialization part, and this part is the condition part, and this part is called post execution. So this part is in the post execution. Basically we are going to increment the counter variable so that we can iterate up to the next iteration. Okay, so let me clear this out. And one more thing that would be a very handy to very useful concept to understand. Let us try to print print the value of I outside of this for loop. So actually we are not going to to access this variable I outside this for statement. Reason being, the scope of the I is limited up to this for loop only. So we will not be able to print out this statement after this for loop. Okay, after the curly braces. Okay, fine. So we have seen this basic loop, and let me comment it out. Now let us try to understand a infinite loop. So infinite loop means that this repetition would happen up to the infinite time. Let us try to understand how we can do that. So very simply, just a keyword for and use the curly braces, and let me copy this here, and we will say I am inside infinite loop. So let us see what happens if we try to run our program. So actually our program is going to be executed for the indefinite time until we press the Control C to forcefully kill this program, or our memory gets exhausted. So it will keep on doing until up to that time. So but in order to get programmatically we can exit out from this loop, from this infinite loop very easily with the help of break keyword. Let me try to let me clear this stuff, and let me try to again rerun the program. So we are going to see this statement only for once. So let me run it. So we are going to see this statement, I am inside the infinite loop, only for the very first time. And after printing this statement, so this break keyword is encountered, and break will forcefully exit out from this loop. So we can also achieve the same thing, and what we were doing with the for loop, basic for loop. So let's say we are going to initialize a variable I is equal to 0, and here we are going to say x plus plus, and we are going to print the value of x, and here we are saying if we want to check if x is equal to 10, then we want to break out of this loop. Okay, so like this. And if we run this program again, so actually we are going to see the same output of our previous one. We are going to print this statement 1 2 3 4, and we are going to do the same thing only up to the value of x becomes, and the moment the value of x becomes 11, so we are exiting from this loop. So for the very first time x was 0, and we incremented the value x, and that is why we are getting it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11 also we are getting, because we are checking this thing after printing this statement. Okay, so this was a infinite loop, and let us see the third variation. Let us try to use the for loop as a while loop. So for example, say we are again going to have a variable x is equal to, let's say, 0, and we are going to check only the condition in the what happens in the while loop. Try to understand it. What happens in the while loop? In the while loop also in the C we write something like this: while x is less than 10. This is what this is what we can write for a while loop in other programming languages. So similarly, we can say, using the for loop, for keyword, we can very simply say x is lesser than equal to 10 and the curly braces, and we are going to print fmt println we will say value of x, and we will pass x here. And let us try to run this program again. Let me clear this screen. Okay, wait a moment. So actually I didn't terminated this here. We are incrementing the value x. Let me clear it. So here we are getting the value. We are going to we are getting the output from the x is 0 to 10. So try to understand it what we are doing here. So here we are initializing this variable outside of this for loop, and we are checking this condition. So the very first time the value of x was 0, and we are checking if x is lesser than equal to 10. So yes, x is lesser than equal to 10. So we are executing this statement, and after this statement gets executed, we are incrementing the value of x, and this and the new incremented value of x is going to be checked against this condition. And for the second time the value of x becomes 1. So here we are checking if 1 is lesser than equal to 10. So obviously yes, 1 is lesser than 10. So we are going to get this out. This statement gets executed, and again we are incrementing the value x, and we will keep, or this process will keep on doing until the value of x becomes until the value of x is greater than 10. So the moment the value of x is greater than 10, so this condition is going to be evaluated to false, and we will get out of this loop. Let me write a let us try to write the value of x here. So we will say fmt dot println, and we will say outside of while loop, and we will say x. Let us save it. Let me clear the screen. We will again run our program. So outside of this loop the value of x is 11, because reason being we get out of this loop the moment the value of x is greater than 10. So this is why inside this loop we were only able to print this statement only up to the 10. The value of x was 10 only up to that point of time. And since we declared this variable outside of this for loop, so that is why even after this for loop we are getting the incremented value of x. So we outside of this while loop, of this for loop as a while actually, so we are getting the value of x as 11. So I hope that's all for this session, and I hope everything is clear up to the mark. And still if you have anything to say or any doubt or any confusion, so please do let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. So I'll see you in some other session. So till then, take care and happy coding.